So as mentioned before, there is another new unit on the market here. So here at Mission Hospital, we use the Medela chest tube, and this is the techie counterpart to our traditional canisters. And what's cool about this is it has all the same features, but most of these features are linked to technology. So it makes it a little bit more user friendly if you know what buttons to press, and will give you very accurate results. So let's talk about what some of the differences are and what the Medela chest tube does to accomplish what we need in a chest tube. So we have an LCD screen at the very top of the machine, and this tells us the different pressure settings, air leak detection, and output calculation. So we'll talk about that in a moment. The other thing is that it uses a battery. So the average battery life is about 10 hours when it's unplugged. So it's very important that you make sure that you have the charging cable. Without the charging cable, it will die and then it will not work properly. So you always want to make sure when you're getting handoff from PACU that you have that charging cable, or if you're getting the patient from another unit. The other cool thing, and probably my favorite feature, is that suction is contained within the machine and does not need to be connected to the wall. So we'll talk about that on the next slide a little bit, but it is very cool. The other thing is that it can be positioned anywhere. So it does not absolutely need to be below the chest level because of the way that this device works. But it does work best at chest level or below. So it is a good rule of thumb with any chest tube to have it at chest level or below. And for the Medela, if you need to put it up a little bit higher, maybe on a table for a moment while you reposition them, etc., that is acceptable. So as I had mentioned before, there's no external suction needed. So there's no need to connect it to the wall. And for any experienced nurse out there, that is blowing our minds. But for those of you newer nurses, welcome to the future. We're super excited about it. So for suction, again, it is included in the unit. So no external suction is needed for the Medela chest tube. The suction strength is actually displayed on the bottom middle of the screen. So here you'll see the patient is at -20, which is very helpful that it's nice and clear on the screen. In order to change the suction strength, you would just press the 2 inward arrows for 3 seconds, and you're going to use the up and down arrows to change the pressure to whatever you would like it to be. Do keep in mind that the Medela chest tube uses something called physio mode, which is the same words for water seal. So that is their version of water seal, which is actually -8. So it is important to know it is -8 for physio, and that is actually the equivalent of a water seal. Some people are tempted to go all the way down to 0 to like remove the suction and put it on water seal. But again, you just need to press the button for physio, which is -8, and that is equivalent to water seal. If the patient has an air leak, it will display on the left side of the screen. So you'll see that there. And if you want to check the history of that air leak, then you can just press up on the screen. For fluid output, it is important that you know how much output your patient has during your shift. And it should be documented every shift. So at the end of your shift, when you document your output, so in this case for this patient it would be 810, then you are going to reset the fluid display by pressing the arrow that points to the left for 3 seconds, and once you've done that, it will reset back down to 0. The one thing I don't like about the Medela chest tube is that the pump will not record output until it gets to 10% of the canister volume. So lucky for us, usually the patient already has enough output to be able to see the output once they get to the unit. But do keep in mind if there's nothing displayed, but you see that there's output in the canister, that it needs 10% of the canister volume. So if there's a 300 ml canister, which is usually what we stock, then it will not show on the output screen until it gets to at least 30. So just keep that in mind. But if you want to check out the history of the fluid output once it gets past that 10%, so say you're not sure how much has come out through your shift at what time, but the doctor's like, oh my gosh, when did all that come out? you can go ahead and press down and it will pull up a fluid history for you to see how much output has come out over time. Lastly, we have some alarms that might be happening. So if you do have an alarm, it will prompt you to press the up and down arrows, and it will give you prompts on how to fix whatever it is alarmed about. So that is very helpful. And once you've followed those prompts, you'll just press OK, and hopefully you will be alarm free. And last, we're going to talk about changing the canister. So what do we do once it starts to get full? So first, you're going to clamp your tubing and you're going to put your canister in standby mode. So go ahead and press that arrow key for 3 seconds that you see on the screen. And then you're going to take that canister off and you're going to put the new canister on. Make sure that you're taking care of the seal. And then you're going to press on to restart the previous settings and unclamp the tubing, and you're ready to go. That is it about the Medela chest tube. So now we're going to go into chest tube complications.